So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Thanks everybody so much for checking in. Paddy, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm a little bit hot and bothered and kicked up and down. I'm just off a 5-a-side game and there at 9 o'clock. So I had a shower and wolfed down my dinner. So I'm feeling a bit rough around the edges. Playing against two fellas that were half my age and kicking lumps out of me. So it's one of those games where you walk off thinking, is it time to give it up? But nah, that's not going to happen. All right, we'll soldier on and see does he come back in. Macadamia, you're my age. Is it Macadamia or Adamia? Are we saying it correctly? Yeah, it's tough going, but it's probably the best workout I can get at my age. So just keep it going and hope for the best till age finally catches up with me. We'll enjoy it. Yeah, I think we lost Neil. We'll try soldier on and see will he come back in there. Hopefully we'll be able to log out and log back in. Good to see who we got on there. Hi Dermot, how are you getting on? Good to see you. Thomas, all very welcome. Who else have we got? Well, yeah, we did. We lost Neil. We'll give him a second there and see if we can get him back in. What's news today? Well, I suppose the news that's just broke this evening is that we have to deal with 5 substitutes going forward, and I know Neil wants to discuss it from his point of view, so we'll get on to that later. We'll discuss a little bit about West Ham, see how we get on. Am I making it up to Villa Park on Sunday? A lot of people will be happy to know that I'm not, because they think I'm the reason that we're that we're losing games. But no, I'm not making it Sunday. Is Neil back in there? Is he? Go on, Neil. Give him a smile.
This podcast is going to be 5 minutes. There's going to be no smiling tonight. Like I know how some of you guys felt on Friday night after the Arsenal match when you were kicking up stink about Dean Smith.
Neil, give us a smile. Go on, you can do it. You can manage it.
I won't. There's nothing to smile about. The world is ending because my internet connection is poor. I don't even know what the story is.
The world is only beginning, Neil. I'm still playing football at my age.
Yes, where were you?
You can. Fair play to the lads. They come in. Helping me out here. Kieran says you need to be sacked. What do you reckon?
I'm sacking myself, Kieran. I don't need this hassle. I don't need this hassle of internet anymore. Sack myself.
Yeah.
I wish it was dial up. I'm getting 1 gigabyte internet here.
You thought the 5 subs was abandoned. No, they've come out tonight to say that IFAB have recommended that they go with the 5 subs. And the weather's not helping either. He's gone again. Okay, Jesus, they're flying in with the questions here now. Where's that one? Could have done with 5 subs in the last 3 games. Yes, if we had 5 subs capable of changing the game, then I really believe that would be the case. Do we have 5 subs changing the game? No, absolutely not. So, yeah, that's a tough one. For me, I think it makes the rich teams stronger. It gives them more of a backup. It gives them more of an opportunity to keep players happy. So the likes of, say, your Man Cities of the world, your Chelseas of the world, can keep those, even though they've spent an awful lot of money on players, they can keep them happy by putting them in there for 20 minutes to see out a game. It also helps the likes of, I shouldn't be picking on Burnley, but I'm going to say Burnley anyway. So if they go 1-0 up after 60 minutes and they start putting on extra defenders, I think it could be the ruination of the game. I don't think that part of the game was broken. I don't think we need to fix it. It also ruins if we get to, if you say like a Champions League qualifier or something like that, when we've got, say Villa have to play someone like Juventus, and Juventus rest players and throw 5 players on. So that's all my main arguments against it, really.
5 subs.
5 subs.
Sure, look.
Yeah.
Every other league in Europe does it except for ourselves.
So Kieran says Stan Collymore said the same thing. I don't know whether you could hear what I was saying there, Neil. Basically, it just benefits the bigger teams. They can keep more players happy. They can have a loaded bench. The likes of Burnley could bring on an extra 3 defenders and shore up a game if they go 1-0 up after an hour. There's loads of ways of looking at this. I don't think it's a part of the game that's broken. So I wouldn't be fixing it. And I think it's a big deal, and it's something I'm very passionate about. Are you still there? Super Mark says it's all to try and save Ollie's job. Yeah, that's exactly it. Ironically enough, I don't think they have 5 players there to change the game, but it's exactly what I'm saying. They can come in against the likes of a Norwich if Norwich happen to be 1-0 up and change the game. So Ad thinks it's a very valid argument, Neil. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it's fine, but you just adapt to it. Tell us now that it's going to be in for next year, and just adapt to it. Every other top league has 5 substitutes. It's going to come down the line sometime. It's not a hill I think the Villa should die on, and I think other teams should die on. It's going to come in at some stage. I think they're powerless to stop it because it happens. It's happening throughout other leagues as well. So,
but the issue
do I
is
agree with it? No, probably not, because it just means the team stash players again. But then again, the positive for us is the fact that we get to give our good youth players that are coming through game time. That's positive for Villa, but
yeah, maybe. But there's not. I don't think there's many positives to it. I think it's just another UEFA effort to keep the top teams at the top, the ones that are spending the money. So there we go.
Other top leagues do it. It's going to come in. Tell us now when we can adapt to it in the summer. We've got plenty of money. Going to
happen. It's going to make every checkbook in the Premier League have to open it in the transfer window,
which is good for us because we have money.
Yeah, 25 players is probably not enough.
So,
then, if that's the case.
Right, yeah, that's okay too. Where's it? 27. These are. I think it's arbitrary numbers. It's like we're still at a massive disadvantage from the top 6 or the top 3, 4, 5, 6 teams or whatever as it is anyway. I just think it's just another hurdle that we have to adapt to, and we see where it goes. Of all the rules, I think that are going to be brought in, I think that this one is just. I just don't think there's a point in fighting this one.
No,
I can see why Burnley and Brighton would fight it.
It's going to happen, but I would imagine, if it came down to a vote, I think the top 6 would vote for it, or the big 6, or the greedy 6, whatever you want to call them, would vote for it, and the rest of the clubs wouldn't. That's the way I see it happening. But anyway, we'll move on. What have we got to talk about, Neil? Well, Moody says Man City are out, so I think that's answered the question I've just asked Neil. So, is that a good thing? Yeah, as long as they got a tough game today, and there's the good few. Neil told me before we come on that they had to bring on a few of their starters to have a go off Man City. So we'll see how it goes on Saturday. Not looking forward to our next match on current form. West Ham are looking tough on paper. We should do it. Well, I honestly don't think he's going to change the process or the system on Sunday. And the reason for that being is because if Arsenal could bully us with 5 at the back, the big strapping West Ham lads are going to do exactly the same. So that's just my opinion on it. I don't think he'll change it. But I guess it'll all come down to who we have available and whether he finds a way of pigeonholing some of the players into that. What does he do? Does he play a 4-2-3-1? I don't know. I honestly don't know. This is another very valid point. West Ham are scoring on set pieces. That is not what we need going into this weekend either. we probably need to be putting them on the back foot. So I think if he is working hard on that 4-2-3-1, we've had the extra few days rest now after them playing the game tonight. So we've just got to get stuck into them from the start, from what I can see. What else have we got here? Jason says, please no, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. I don't want to see 5 at the back. I don't want to see us playing like that at home either, because we've just seen it too often now. But then again, so many fans screamed for it, and the ones that screamed for it are now screaming against it. So he's on a hiding to nothing, really. Whatever he does, he's a no-win situation. Now this one, Mings isn't great against the likes of Antonio. I hate to see players run at Mings. I really do. We have a lack of physicality in midfield. Absolutely, we do. Declan Rice has the ability to take us on and run with the ball at us. That is a very valid point. 4-3-3, we can do them. Luis, Super Jam again, Sanson. Has to be Ings, Watkins, and Bailey. Ings or Watson with Bailey and Buendia on the flanks. Yes, that's our best. I think that's our best team. Maybe not Sanson. I haven't actually seen any footage, and nobody has showed me any photographs of Sanson allegedly kicking or throwing a bottle at Dean Smith. So nobody seems to know whether that's true or not. So that's the only debatable one in there. It would definitely be JJ for me. And yeah, I'd have Luis and McGinn sitting a bit deeper, and just to get something different into the game. This I agree with as well. I think the fans could turn if they see 5 at the back. It's a very, very possible scenario. I don't think the fans are happy. I think we need to give them what they want this weekend. I think we need to go for it and get the 3 points. So the thing is, if you try it, it works great. If it's not working, you have to change it. So what is it? Do we try the 4-2-3-1 and then change it, or the other way around? For me, I think he's on a hide into nothing. He probably should give the people what they want and go with the 4-2-3-1. But he's the manager. He has to. He lives by the sword and dies by the sword. If we go 4-2-3-1 and get walloped again, then we're gonna look like we have eggs on our face. So it's a tough one. It's hard to determine what's going to happen. I think we've resigned to losing Neil here. So I'm going to continue on for another few minutes because guys have made the effort to come in and have a chat. So if anything you want to discuss, throw it up there and we'll keep it going. How do you think we'll line up? Do you agree that we'll go with the 5 at the back for a while? This is a very valid point here as well. Don't give away stupid free kicks. Cresswell is excellent from free kicks. He's a decent set piece taker. I think they could cripple us with the likes of Soufal if he's fit, Rice in the air. Yeah, there's so much to offer. I think that probably will be probably not in the 10. I think JJ will be in the 10, and then we'll probably see Buendia on the right and Bailey on the left if he's fit. That's if we do that combination. I think it'll be Ings that plays up front. From seeing him in the flesh twice, the work rate that he puts in, there's no reason why I would be dropping Ings. I mean, if they tried 5 at the back and it failed, time to change it. The fans have wanted the current system, but that's before we lost 3 games in a row with it. Yeah, absolutely, Jason. I think when you go 4 or 5 games, losing games, the fans turn very quickly, and he's 2 games to turn this around. For me, it will be going for it on Sunday. I think we've enough firepower to go and do it. Whether we trust them to go and do it is another story. So that's what we've got to determine. If Bailey is fit, Do we do that? Yes, absolutely. I think it will hem them back a bit. I think his pace will scare them a little bit. There's a lot to figure into this, including what way West Ham are going to line up, because they're a big tough side and they've given us problems over the last couple of years. What have I missed there? Yes, like I said there, Kieran, we could be embarrassed on Sunday. I fear for Smith if it happens too. I think he's got 2 games left before people start calling for his head. Some people have called for his head already. I don't genuinely believe that. I don't think it's his fault. I think we've just had such a, like, I'm blue in the teeth saying it now at this stage. We've just had such a disjointed start to the season. Everything is up in a heap. Nobody knows if we're coming or going. Who's fit? COVID issues. John McGinn picking up COVID. Matches cancelled. There's so much. The guys going off to South America and coming back late. There's just so much to derail our season. And you know, all of this goes back to the 5 subs. I don't see how the 5 subs are going to help us based on who we have. You know, if we look at the African Cup of Nations now, where we could potentially lose a winger and lose a central midfielder, like who do we bring in to, if Douglas Luiz picks up an injury in that time? It's a tough way to be when you don't have an embarrassment of riches like if Chelsea lose 2 or 3 players to the African Cup of Nations, you're probably not even going to notice that. Oh, you coming back for one more try, Neil?
Who knows? Who knows?
I think this one might end up on the cutting room floor. What do you reckon?
I can't imagine that this one will be up on YouTube past 10:15 tonight, lads. I'm going to be honest. Anyway, less of me feeling sorry for myself. What did I miss while everyone was talking?
Well, just kept the ball roll talking about systems and how we think we'll line up. I genuinely feel he'll stick with the system for this weekend purely on the basis that he'll fear being bullied by West Ham. But I really hope Bailey is fit to go and start and have a pop off these, because I think he's our secret weapon that will keep them pinned back.
Yeah. I have no idea. This is a suck it and see kind of approach. I think this weekend for me, it's like I think he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Regardless, I think I don't care what formation he plays. I'm gonna be really honest with everyone. I don't care what formation he plays. I know what formation I would prefer him to play. But I don't care what he plays as long as we get something out of this game at the weekend, preferably win. I would like to see Bailey play. I would like to see Bertrand Traore play, which gives everybody an insight as to the fact that I would like to see a 4-2-3-1. But also, I think that a 4-2-3-1 leaves us massively exposed with regards to Rice and Souček. We didn't have an answer for them with 4-2-3-1 last year. We didn't have an answer for them 4-2-3-1 the year before. So Rice and Souček are going to be the 2 big points that we're going to have to overcome. And I had who scored open there, and I have a very, very funny feeling that is what might have been my bandwidth, because my bandwidth was megabyte, and I'm gone again. There I am. I'm gone again.
No,
like,
he's still there. He's still there.
No.
Yeah, that's obviously your downfall, Neil. This is an amazing stat that came out yesterday. Mings already on 4 yellows. He got 4 in the whole of last season. That's incredible. That just shows how well we played last season, that he was under so little pressure that he only picked up 4 yellow cards. Would you play Courtney House instead alongside Bonza? Not necessarily. I'd let him pick up the 5 now and reload. If he's going to pick it up at the weekend, so be it. The over there, that's the important part. We do have the likes of Courtney House to come back in there, and everybody will be absolutely fine with that. The problem is when we go to if we're going to stick with 3 at the back, and then Mings goes down to the 5 yellows, then we have to switch it up more or less the following week. So that's leading me to think that maybe he will go 4 at the back this week.
Yeah, I think he goes a 4 at the back. I think we're strong. We've got a strong 4 centre halves. Let me get his 50 yellow card if he has to. I prefer to play him now than to mind him, because the amnesty. When is the amnesty? Does anybody out there know when the amnesty comes in? When the 5 cards? Am I right in saying that the 5 cards then gets moved to 10 cards? And then there's a full amnesty at the end of March, if I'm not mistaken. But we can't mind him until the amnesty comes in, if there is one after 5 cards, really. So I think just let him get the 5th if he gets it.
Yeah. No, I think that's the case. All right. Have we lost you again?
I would be mad. Yeah, I was just saying, like, I would imagine the 2 of those yellow cards they got were for very silly reasons. Specifically, I think the foul that he gave away in the last game was silly, and yeah, I'd imagine it. I've got something in the back of my head. There was another silly yellow card there somewhere as well. Anyway, get to 5. Yeah. We'll worry about it when he gets to 5.
So Adam reckons he wishes at this point we just ditch the formation. We won't play it when everyone is fit, and it hasn't worked. Plus the idea that Watkins is undroppable. I don't agree that he's undroppable. I said it there when Neil was off. I think if you had to pick our best striker this season, it's Danny Ings on purely the fact that he's scoring goals and his work rate is incredible. He's been a great signing. What do you think, Neil?
Danny Ings has been great. Yeah. Second best striker has been Cameron Archer this season. You know, so just going on basically on form. Arguably being our best, arguably being our best. But I think it's just going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what the situation is with this team, what happens on Sunday.
We lost them again, I think. It's almost since Terry left that we've slowly forgotten how to defend. We had so many clean sheets. Let's not forget we had 2 amazing performances against somewhat of an amazing performance against Everton, and we defended for our lives against Man United as well. So we haven't forgotten how to defend. There's arguments for both, definitely. The system worked for us against Everton, albeit it was a case of Bailey coming on at left back, near enough. So it was slightly changed, but we held it all together against Man United and eventually nicked one at the end. So the system can work, but it's going to be a case of what Dean tries to do this weekend. We've lost them. Look, I think we'll put this down as just a bad one, lads, and we'll cut our losses. Give Neil another couple of seconds to see if he can rectify the situation and come back in. We'll give another few minutes there if there's anything else you want me to discuss. I don't know whether we'll be stronger. I think it's depending on what we have going forward. The back 4 is fine. I've absolutely no problem with the back 4. It's the protection in front of it. When we have to defend, a lot of people think that it's something that John McGinn can't do. So we're a little bit exposed at times, but it's absolutely fine. If we have all our firepower available, and by all our firepower, I mean Leon Bailey, Bertrand Traore, Buendia, fully fit, forward the back is definitely something we need to be doing, and we need to be working at putting them forward, What else have we got here? Yeah, I think that's the point, Dermot. I think that's what everybody wants. We just need a fully fit squad that we can pick from. That, if we start with Traore and Bailey, or Traore and Buendia, it means after an hour, when one of them tires, you can switch it up, or both of them tires, you can switch it up, to bring maybe Watkins on the left and Buendia to stay right and JJ through the middle. You've Cameron Archer to come in there as well. So there's loads of ways of switching it up at the front. So absolutely valid point. I think that's everyone's frustration, that we just can't get everybody fit together and on the pitch. We're just going to give Neil one last go and see if we have him in there.
I don't know if you
How we
guys can
doing?
hear me. Yeah, how's things? I think I'm back.
Right.
Guys,
Do you need
sorry
a
about
drink,
this.
Neil?
Do I need a drink? A couple of things. Sorry about my internet, lads. Everyone. Just in case you didn't get it earlier on, in case you missed my earlier outburst about my internet. I'm crafting a strongly worded tweet as we speak.
Kieran thinks I should have Stephen on standby for the next one. What do you think?
Yeah, lads, we're open to applications for Paddy's co-host because I'm unreliable at the moment. Applications can go to fortheloveofpomegranate@gmail.com. Yeah.
So, anything else left to add, Neil?
No, I'm going to go with 1-1 draw, and voices of dissension will continue to come. I think we go back to 4. I don't know what formation we play, but I think that there is. I don't agree with it, and I think that there is enough of voices that have just basically down tools and Dean Smith at the moment, which I don't agree with. And nothing other than a win, I think, at the weekend will quell those. I think even a draw won't do that, but we will still support him. I will still support him. And I'm not too worried about what formation he plays as long as the result, as long as we don't lose, I suppose, the weekend. This is not a must not lose game, I think, more so than a must win game. I don't buy into an awful lot of the stuff about squad harmony and stuff that's gone around all week. I don't buy into that. I think what we saw from Mings and I don't know if you guys have already spoken about it from Mings and McGinn was two people fighting over who was marking the corners, and it just kept on going and going and going. I think that's okay. Players are allowed to disagree on the field.
Yeah.
I think the Sansan thing was one person getting unruly.
Did it happen?
If that is to be believed, one person getting unruly. From what there's no one has said any evidence that it's happened, and no one has ever actually even mentioned if Dean Smith knew it happened. So, like, there's one thing with one person getting annoyed and firing a bottle at the manager. If the manager reacts and the two of them have a powwow on the sideline, that's somebody losing the dressing room. Whereas if Dean Smith didn't even know somebody was pissed off in the dugout about him, that's really just on Sanson. So I think there's an awful lot of sensationalism around that at the moment, without any evidence on it. But I think it's probably important that like a lot of these things have come out over the course of the last week, and a lot of people are talking about it and showing us that it's evidence to suit what oh, we need to get rid of this guy, or we need to do this, or there's obviously something brewing under the. No, I think it was marking from corners. The two lads were still at each other over it. McGinn ducked out of 3 headers from 3 corners last week. I think Mings was dead right to have a crack off him. Then again, I think Mings needs to probably marshal things more at corners as well. If anybody's been watching the podcast for the last 2 years, we've been very critical of John McGinn's marking from corners, whether it be at the back post or the front post. He was caught at the front post this time. Last year, he was caught twice at the back post, 3 times at the back post by Ben Mee, Vestergaard, and somebody that I can't quite remember at the back post. But so I think it's an ongoing thing, and I think Mings was right to give out to him because he ducked out of the header.
Question for you, Neil.
Ducked out of the header for the first goal. Yes.
Do you think we're missing John Terry?
I don't know. I think it's hard to say.
But do you think
I think it's very, very hard to say because I suppose, look, it's a very easy thing to point to and say, well, the dressing room can't be the same without John Terry. But then again, you might as well be able to say the dressing room isn't the same without Jack Grealish being captain. You know, so like which do you want to put? Do you want to put the cart before the horse, or which one do you want to do? You know, so
yeah.
So it's you know once again, show me evidence before show me evidence that we're missing John Terry. When John Terry gets a job at another club, and we'll see how good that goes, we might be able to point to it. But for me, John Terry was was due to leave much sooner than he did leave. So and that's more or less been confirmed by the club. But, so it was just the COVID kind of held him back. But so I'm not quite sure.
Have we replaced him though in Aaron Danks? I don't think we have.
Well, do we even know what Terry was doing with the club?
Well, you've got to presume he was helping with the defense. You know, like nobody ever asked the questions like that. But look, he's definitely going to be a big loss. He's a well-respected figure in the dressing room. I don't know if we're missing him or not, but
I don't know. I think it's a craftily thrown out stick right now to beat Dean Smith with. I think, and for me, you know, call me blind faith in Dean Smith. Show me evidence that we're missing Terry. Show me evidence of what he did to say that we're missing him now. Because at the start of the season, things were going, or there was a middle portion of the season where things were going okay. You know, so I don't know. Look, I'm open to any suggestion. I just can't say for certain. I can't stand here and make a 5-minute impassioned speech because number one, my internet will kick out. But number two, I've no hard and fast evidence to go by. The John Terry was with us in 2019. You know, and he was looking after defense probably more so in 2019 than he was in 2020. So for me, there's pluses and minuses to it. I don't know. I can't say for certain. And I don't think anybody would be able to say that for certain. But Danks came in. Danks is an attacking coach for sure.
Yeah, so is Shaky.
So Shakespeare.
Yeah. So there's a lot of likeness in there. But then again, Dean Smith was a centre half himself, so you got to think that he'd be working with the defence too. Because he has a coach in there for nearly doing everything else. So you know, we've got Neil Cutler, we've got our Austin McPhee. I keep resisting the temptation to call him Nanny McPhee. It's just stuck in my head. He's you know, there's replacements there. Also, we lost Richard O'Kelly. We don't know what kind of an influence he was in the dressing room either.
Yeah.
No, he was definitely a very good guy. You have around the place because he had all the respect of the players, and we know that much for sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Look, as I say, time will tell with regards to Terry, but I think it's very. Look, I think you could use the John Terry not being there anymore to suit whatever narrative you want to talk about. Really, no. With regards to, but then again, you could also label the same thing as Richard O'Kelly as
yeah.
Well, but look, time will tell. But look, our defense isn't anywhere near as tight as it was last year. But then again, our defense was porous.
Yeah.
In 2019 as well. So it's a really hard one. We're so Jekyll and Hyde at the moment that it's so hard to kind of pinpoint it in one specific thing. But I'm sure we'll know by the Christmas or the end of the year whether John Terry was having a massive effect. Yeah. I'm sure it will come out.
Well, I suppose the big problem is if the big red button is pressed and everybody goes, we're back to square one, and that's my worry. I don't really want that to happen. If it's a case that we're looking into a January transfer window and they don't trust them to spend the money, then it may happen. But I honestly don't see it happening this side of Christmas until a decision is made to where we're at. And I think if we're still competitive, like a lot of people forget, if we'd have held on, I know if my granny had balls, she'd be my grandfather, but if we'd have held on against Wolves, we'd have been 7th, and there'd be nobody complaining. It's just one of those things that's fucking.
There's no Smith out if we're 7th after Wolves.
Yeah, that's the difference. You know what I mean? That is, it was the difference of 7 places of not winning that game.
But then again, Paddy, we didn't hold on against Wolves.
No, we didn't.
You know, so, and I'm not having a crack at you, but like just like I'm saying, show me the evidence that John Terry is the reason. You know, the evidence that we have is we didn't win against Wolves. So you know, I think if we're going to bring hypotheticals in on both sides, and this isn't to go at you, I suppose, really just talking about where we are at the moment, and given the fact that I am in absolutely torrid form at the moment, I suppose we didn't win against Wolves, but I think that a lot of the, I think that stuff is fixable with the return of people from injuries, tweaks to the formation, changing it back to the 4-2-3. Like, I don't like. There's going to be games this year where the 4-2-3-1 people are going to cut through us like knife through butter, like Arsenal did last week as well. And you know, it's I genuinely believe that if our midfield plays well in games, we will play well as a team. If our midfield plays poorly, God bless us. That's the way we are at the moment. That we're so reliant on the midfield, and Jacob Ramsey just has to play. Just has to play in that midfield. He's a small. He's positionally very good. He's He's a bit more grunt in there, and people won't agree with this, but he's a bit more grunt in there in midfield. He likes to get stuck in. He wins back possession. He's had the most pressure rates of any of our three midfielders. I think he has to play. I think he's as pivotal as McGinn and Douglas Luiz, specifically if we're going to be going with the 4-2-3-1 formation or the 4-1-4-1 formation, whatever way you want to call it. I think Jacob Ramsey is very pivotal to how our midfield sets up. From a stability, he may not be the flashiest player ever, and I know I saw people on social media saying he's only got 1 goal and no assists in his Aston Villa career. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as long as he brings stability to our game plan. I'm very, very okay with that. But he's not a world beater. We're not saying that he's the next N'Golo Kante. But at this moment in time, he brings way more stability than Emi Buendia. He brings way more stability than Morgan Sanson. And if it was true that Morgan Sanson fired a battle, I would be expecting not to see Morgan Sanson on the bench anytime soon. If I was the manager, I would be sitting him down in a dark room. And I would be telling him, think about what he did. And it's sorry, won't cut it. Specifically, if you do it in the sideline like that. If you do it in training, what about it? You know, if you get frustrated and stuff, or if you go up and you have a Barney inside the office, grand. But on the sideline of a match, if you do something like that for me, I don't know, call me old-fashioned. I'll be sitting down for a while. I'll be saying that'll be our next 2 weeks' wages. And thank you very much. January is coming. I'll let you decide whether you want to stick around or not. But once again, we don't know whether it happened. We've got no evidence on it. So
I was on mute because I plugged out my microphone. Can you hear me?
There you go. I can hear you now. Yeah, I don't think this one is going to ever see the light of day after this podcast, lads. If anybody's waiting for the audio version, I'd say it could be a long way for this one. I might try and chop it up, and I might see what we can get out of it.
Here, John D is the luckiest guy in the room. He's just joining.
He's just joined now after all the
absolute nightmare.
Yeah. I'd make some point here. Podcast bloopers. We've got our Christmas DVD out for podcast bloopers at the moment. And
that's the one you want, is it?
Yeah. But it was the other one I was looking for. Like the look of him though, Ian Taylor. Ian Taylor vibes about Jacob Ramsey. I think he could become that kind of person, like that Ian Taylor type. I think when Ian Taylor was playing with Aston Villa at that given time, specifically when we signed him from Sheffield Wednesday, and yes, I am old enough to remember that. I may not look it. Don't let the grey beard fool you. But when we signed him, I think even at that stage, a lot of people were wondering who this guy was coming in for $2.5 million and what he was going to do. And he basically hit the ground running, and he pulled the team forward. And by the time he retired, and even look, 5-6 years after he retired, I think his legend even grew because people saw how important he was to the team. And he had that fantastic 2 or 3 seasons before he retired, where he was banging in the goals for Aston Villa. And you know, sometimes it isn't the biggest name on the team that makes the formation tick, or that makes the midfield stable. And I think at the moment that's really Jacob Ramsey at the moment. But like, is he a better footballer than Buendia? No, he's not. Buendia is a better footballer. We've seen it. Buendia is an Argentinian international, but at this moment in time, Jacob Ramsey makes us way more stable inside there.
Yes, I agree. 100%. I'd prefer to see Buendia off on the right. That's just me. A lot of people prefer to see him through.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah. Yeah. Just because I'm saying that Jacob Ramsey starts, I don't mean the Buendia. Like, give me Bailey left, Buendia right, Danny Ings or Watkins through the middle. All for it. I'll be sitting here happy, you know, best fan in the world seeing that. Oh, for sure. And I think there's a way to fit the two of them into the team.
Yeah.
And hopefully we see it, because maybe Bertrand Traore isn't right. We're probably going to see that an awful lot as well, because like with the AFCON coming up as well, it's going to be Bertie and Marvelous Nakamba gone for those 2 games, or for potentially up to six weeks for the AFCON.
I mentioned that while you were off air. It will be a big deal, but we also have the luxury of signing players just before that. So we do.
And also we've got Carney Chukwuemeka. He could deputise for Marvelous Nakamba over a 6-week period. The right wing do we trust Jaden for the Jimbides to come in there and deputise for 6 weeks? I don't see why not, but it depends on where we are. I still think we will spend money, in this transfer window, and I think we'll probably end up spending money on a midfielder, if not two. Maybe we'll see.
Just want to put up a comment there, just to put a bit of perspective in what we're pissed off about.
Yeah.
Hi guys, I'm a Darlington fan. We were made bankrupt in 2011 and reformed in 2012, demoted 4 leagues and have had 3 promotions. And now a fan-owned National League North club. The reason why that's relevant is because that could have so easily have been us under Tony Shah. Only we were coming in and bailed out. So thanks very much for the comment and for dropping in, Ian. Fair play to you. I don't know if you have any Villa allegiance, but thanks for grounding us with that comment.
Yeah. And look, it's like, as I said, that is perspective. We could have been there as well. Yeah. But and I know, look, this is another thing as well. Every time we're going to talk about where we've come and Dean Smith shouldn't be sacked and Dean Smith has done this and done everything, and this isn't to take anything away from Ian's comment there, but it always does come up, and there is a time when we've moved past the fact that we nearly went bankrupt. It won't always be an excuse, it won't always be an excuse.
No.
But I think still at this moment in time, we're still Phoenix from the ashes, from that moment. I think after this year, it's no longer an excuse based on the foundation, the platform that Suarez and Edens have put in there. But I think that for this season, there is still a remnants of that in the background based on the first season being in the Premier League and the 11-player turnover, last season with COVID, and then this season with the truncated
pre-season,
the truncated off season, which I also said in our post Everton, our post Arsenal game podcast, that the longer the season goes on, this is less of an issue or less of an excuse, I think, as well. But it still is something I think that we should bring up. But it's all these things are relevant, but how much they build into the actual where we are at the moment, at this very moment in time, will be, I suppose, seen towards the end of the season. But look, it all starts again at Villa Park on Sunday. What, 6 o'clock? Sunday 5:30?
4:30.
Oh, it is 4:30. Yeah, it is 4:30. Sunday at 4:30, and then we'll try and kick our season on from there, because a win against West Ham gives us a fair shot in the arm. And I know Welsh Woody, where are you there? You said we got battered last season by West Ham at home, and I feel it'll happen again. Look, history suggests that West Ham have our number, but that's why they play the games, to see what the results are. We could very well lose this game 1 or 2-0. West Ham are a good side. They're a damn good side. And like tonight, they played Souček. Tonight they played both their starting fullbacks. Well, the 2 fullbacks that played at the weekend, should I say, they played them again tonight. Cresswell and Johnson. I know Kufal came on later on in the game. They brought on Fornals. They brought on Benrahma. They brought on Jared Bowen. So they rested their front 4 essentially. The rest of their front 4 and their 2 centre halves. So Kurtzuma and Ogbonna didn't play tonight either. So they've rested quite a few players, but they still played Cresswell, and they still played Johnson, who played at the weekend as well. And then they had to bring the guys off the bench. Not saying that that's going to make a massive difference. These are professional footballers, but look, we'll see what way. Like, every team can be beaten. Every team, like, if we sat here, United gave us a tonkin last season. Albeit we did have a penalty, a Pogba penalty that he bought, but everything happens for a reason in these games, and we could very well go out and lose 2-0, but without knowing what the team is, and we're looking to make any suggestion of I was messing earlier on when I was saying West Ham were going to win 2-1 in my fit of rage. But I think once we see the team, that it should become all that more apparent, really. And I think Dean Smith will probably read between the lines here, and he will start Leon Bailey, and he will give the fans, because if he doesn't, at home, there could be murmurs very, very quickly out the gates.
So the murmurs are there already, aren't they?
But that's what I'm talking about. Does he want those murmurs from minute 1? If he starts Leon Bailey. We get a couple of bright attacks down the wing. We get, and he did change it to 4-2-3-1 as well against Arsenal in the second half. It did seem to lift the mood slightly because we had a bit more of an attacking impetus. If he starts that from minute one, it might get the fans on their feet a small bit. One of those runs might light up Villa Park. May not score early doors or whatever like that, but I think the fans are going to want to see some sort of attacking impetus. And I don't think Dean Smith will want to get the fans on his back early. Now, whether he plays, as I say, we're still well able to achieve that with the 3-5-2 because we did it against we attacked like madmen against Chelsea, even though we lost 3-0, and we attacked very well against Manchester United as well. So look, as I say, it'd be just interesting to see the personnel, I think, that are put out more so than the formation.
Well, I think that's the important thing, and I think it's very important that we get behind them. Those that are at Villa Park get behind them, because it's going to be a very nervous 10-15 minutes to start off with, because I'm sure the lads are hurting. They're going to want it. You can be sure there's going to be piss and vinegar, as you say, Neil, in the first 15 minutes. So I hope that the fans get behind them and do it from the start. It's a big one. I think it's important we get something out of it, and I have a sneaky feeling that we're going to see a backlash this weekend.
Good. In good form.
And just as a little segue, as we head into the weekend, Ian, from the Darlington fan, Julian Joachim played for Old Darlow when he wasn't in the books. Well, funny you should mention Julian Joachim. We have been given a signed copy of Julian Joachim's book, which we will give away over the next week or so. So keep an eye on our Twitter account, and we'll let you know how you can win the book. Even you can apply, Ian. We'll let you.
Yeah. Anything else, Paddy? I suppose before we call it a day, because and I do apologize again. It's been an extremely frustrating stream for me. I do apologize for my in and out, my hokey cokey impression here, jumping in and out.
I think I just need a stronger drink.
And I do apologize for my absolutely X-rated outbursts twice during the podcast today. So that'll tell you how frustrating it is, guys. I was playing a game with Football Manager online before this. Not a sausage wrong with the internet. The second I pressed start broadcast, the second I turned on who scored, everything just died at death. So I don't know. There's something to be looked into there. If anybody knows anything about that, DM me. I'll do anything at this stage. I'll pray to whatever God of the internet there is, to try and get this working again, because customer service, it might be easier than ringing customer service.
There you go.
Yeah. Right, we finish it up there at that. Paddy, what did you say? Well, we're not going to give any predictions because there's no point really, I suppose, until we see what the team
I predict
is.
a backlash. I don't predict at this point. I don't predict a loss. So I think there will be a backlash, and we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too, and we'll know more when the team comes out. With regards to Team Sheet Tantrum, guys, obviously the game is on Sunday. We've got quite a lot of time between now and Sunday. It might just be Paddy for the game on Sunday, but we'll see. We'll let you guys know about a Team Sheet Tantrum, and if I can make it, I certainly will. But stay tuned for that as well. Also, stay tuned to Twitter for details on how we're going to give away the Julian Joachim signed copy of his book as well, because it's a good read. And I'm sure somebody out there would really, really love it, and it might make a nice little stocking filler for Christmas as well, which would be very, very good. But thanks so much, everybody, for putting up with me tonight, and for putting up with me all the time, but it's specifically for putting up with me tonight and my jigs and reels. I really appreciate it. This may not be available to watch back on YouTube, or maybe heavily edited if it is. So I do apologize for that. If you do go looking for it, and we may throw up a heavily edited version on the audio podcast as well, because we don't want to lose any listeners over the foul outbursts that I had at the start of the podcast either. Right, guys, listen, look, onwards and upwards. The resurgence starts on Sunday afternoon. A resurrection of this great club restarts again after a 3-match losing spree. We're going to put it up to West Ham. All good vibes between now and then. Where we have our players back. It doesn't look like we're going to have. I don't think we're going to actually have anybody injured for the game at the weekend. So that's going to be an interesting one, and we'll see where we go from there. But as always, thanks everybody so much for watching. Thanks everybody so much for listening. Thanks a million, Paddy, for stepping in there and for keeping the train on the tracks. And as always, thanks to everybody for watching. And the last thing I always say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.